In this video, I'll go over why Novavax has dropped over the past couple trading days, and I'll cover the recent news you need to know. Short interest I'll go over as well. I'll go over some analyst for Novavax. So with that being said, let's dive right in. So cases have fallen for COVID significantly since August. In fact, cases are down 28% since August, and COVID deaths are down roughly 10% as well. So what does this tell me? This tells me that the stock is likely being negatively affected from a drop in COVID cases. And this is really crucial because we're seeing a drop in COVID cases as really the expectations were for a jump in COVID cases. So this is kind of bucking the original trend that was anticipated by investors. So unfortunately, this is really what's hurting Novavax. Obviously, I feel weird rooting for COVID deaths and cases, but for Novavax cases, case it a positive when you see an uptick in COVID. Obviously, we're not getting it here for the stock, so that is unfortunate for Novavax. And I think the large chunk of the move has been really from this drop in COVID cases. Right, you look at a chart of Moderna, for example. Stock's been underperforming the general market as well. Obviously, the stock market has been down as well over the past couple weeks, so that's definitely playing a factor. Um, but with that being said, let's talk about this company's recent news. So, Novavax announced Wednesday that the UK regulators granted full marketing authorization for its prototype COVID-19 vaccine, Neurovax, Nervavac, if I'm pronouncing that right, for ages 12 and older. So, obviously, good news to be kind of entering a new jurisdiction with their vaccine. Obviously, a positive for the stock. I saw the stock. They were trending on StockTwits yesterday, so saw that in reaction. Definitely some retail interest spiking up in reaction to that news. But with that being said, let's take a look at the short interest for Novavax here. So Novavax has 54% of the float sold short currently. They have about 5 days to cover. For those that don't know, this 5 days to cover means that it takes about 5 days of average volume to cover the shares that are sold short. Typically, for a short squeeze, we look for a number of over 10, but there are a bunch of other compelling short interest stats here. And actually, this is very interesting. So, Fintel ranks this company as the 168th most likely stock to have a short squeeze throughout the entire market. So, this tells you that Fintel, which is a very widely respected and followed, finance website here, they see this stock as having a high likelihood to have a short squeeze. And when you take a look at the short squeeze numbers, you would definitely agree. I at least agree. So short shares available is 100,000 shares available to be shorted right now, and we have zero. We used to have 0 shares available to be shorted in yesterday's trading session, so only 100,000, definitely somewhat light. And then we have 42% short borrow fee rate. So for those that don't know, this is basically the rate that investors will charge short sellers to lend their shares out. So 42% is definitely high. It signals that it's quite expensive to short this stock right now, which, anytime a short squeeze takes place, usually you have a short borrow fee rate, which signals it's very expensive for short sellers to get into the stock. And then with that being said, let's take a look at the failure to deliver numbers for this stock. So for those that don't know, failing to deliver is basically when a short seller fails to deliver the shares back to the original investor. So instead of delivering the shares that they should have, they deliver kind of an electronic copy. Um, all you really need to know, it's a smidge complicated, but all you really need to know is that in September, there was 210,000 shares that failed to deliver, which is definitely a decent number. All you need to know is that in the next 60 days, there needs to be 210,000 shares bought by those short sellers to be compliant and to not have the SEC come after them. So that's the rule. It's 60 days within those shares failing to deliver before you actually have to deliver that stock. So 210,000 shares failing to deliver is the most it's been in the past 2 months. So definitely nothing to sneeze at there. 210,000 shares will be bought by short sellers over the next. And then with that being said, let's take a look at some of the Google search trends for this stock. So anytime you have a stock that is widely followed by retail traders, it's always smart to keep in mind what the search trends are, right? So if a lot of retail traders are buying this stock, it makes sense to watch the search trends, right? Because many people Google a stock before they actually buy it. And right now, unfortunately, we're roughly only about 4% of our peak search volume that we saw in 2020. So many people would look at this as a headwind. I kind of look at it as a potential catalyst. So if retail interest was to get to 2020 levels, that would have a massive impact on the stock. Even if it were to get half of 2020 levels, that would still be a positive for this stock. So retail interest on stock twits, and depending on where you look, you may find it, but compared to 2020, this stock really doesn't have much retail interest at all, which if things turn around, let's say we get a bunch of spikes in COVID cases, I would be very shocked if we didn't see a massive spike in searches for this stock, which would obviously get the retail community going again and would be a positive for Novavax. And then with that being said, let's take a look at the Wall Street analyst ratings for this stock to see what Wall Street is thinking for Novavax here. So we had a positive, one second here. We had a positive rating from H.C. Wainwright. They actually reiterated their price target with a $38. Excuse me, they reiterated their overweight rating with a $38 price target. So definitely nothing to sneeze at there. Definitely a good jump there. It's not showing here right now, but I just remember from off the top of my head. So H.C. Wainwright is still bullish on this stock with the $35 price target. And we have 7 bullish companies to 2 bears. So bulls outweighing the bears on Wall Street for this stock. And then with that being said, let's talk about the technicals for Novavax. So we're coming down to test this support level at about 560. I called this level support as this is where shares had bottomed in March of this year. Therefore, I believe this level could act as support once again. We bottomed in March. That was when the stock market was kind of falling off. We had the SVB collapse and everything going on in the banking sector. So we're kind of right down to that level as markets have fallen again. I believe this level acts as support at around 560. We were using this $7 level as support over the past couple months, as this is where shares had bottomed in September, October, early October, I should say, in August, in June, and in May as well. So this $7 level had acted as support in the past. Unfortunately, we fell below this level in Monday's trading session, and we've closed 3 daily candles below that support level. So now that level would act as resistance. So I think we come down to support at around 570. We hold this level and we see a move higher up to $7 over the coming weeks. So that's kind of what I'm seeing for the stock. Also, it's worth noting that volumes have slumped in the past 4 trading days. Anytime you see volumes drop as the stock price drops, it signals that selling pressure is somewhat tapering off as well. So overall, it seems as if this 570 level will hold for Novavax, and we could see a move higher up to $7 over the coming trading days for this stock. And with that being said, let's take a look at some of the seasonality trends for Novavax. So in October, shares typically rise just slightly, about 0.3%. In November, shares typically decline about 1%. In December, shares typically rise 2.5%. December is actually the 4th best month for the stock. So overall, not much of a trend to take away from this. We do have 27 years of pricing data though, so I do see these seasonality trends as somewhat significant, but it is worth noting that December is one of the best months for the stock in its history, and obviously we are coming up on that. So covered a lot in today's video. Would appreciate it if you left a like and subscribe. Really helps the channel. I also put out all my daily entries, my exits on my Discord. So if you're interested in that, you can join below. I have a free 7-day trial going on right now. But with that being said, appreciate you watching this video, and I'll see you here next time.
Looking to learn more about the financial markets? Well, I just released a new course that will teach you everything you need to know about the stock market. You can find that at happyinvestingtoday.com. Also on the site, you can purchase one-on-one coaching sessions where I will break down your portfolio, and to better assist traders when searching for setups, I'm selling trading bots, which will tell you how your trading strategy has performed historically on a stock, crypto, or currency that you are researching. If you would also like to see what me and my experienced trading team are doing on a day-to-day basis, join our Discord, which is linked below, for a free 7-day trial. With that being said, please leave a like and subscribe. Appreciate you watching this video.